Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing the government shutdown and the ending of the funding for the SNAP program. So don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this. The government shutdown is still looming, and the SNAP benefits will apparently disappear on November 1st. It's currently October 29th, 2025, which means we have, I think, 2 days, maybe 3, depending on how you calculate it. But it's Wednesday, and Saturday is the 1st. So that's when the SNAP benefits are apparently going to end, or rather not be renewed, I guess is when most people would receive them who are benefiting from the program. The federal government shutdown entering its second week on October 29, 2025, today, threatens to halt SNAP benefits after October 31st, impacting 42 million low-income Americans, an average of $188 monthly per person. Official USDA data indicates 86% of benefits support households with children, seniors, or disabled members, while critics cite 11.7% improper payments in 2023 and increased spending on non-essentials as reasons for the reform. Defenders argue poverty and low wages drive need, with 70% of adult recipients employed, fueling discussions on stricter eligibility, work requirements, and benefit restrictions like excluding sugary drinks. Yes, a lot of people who are receiving these benefits are using them to buy sodas and snacks, things that are not really essential, although Americans seem to think they are these days. Basically, I would suggest essentials fall in the line of vegetables and meat, perhaps cheese and milk, things like that. Those are groceries that I would consider acceptable to purchase with SNAP benefits. Matt Walsh chimed in here and says he's been doing a lot of research into the food stamp program over the past few days. This scam is so much worse than people realize. For example, did you know that the average EBT recipient spends more on non-essential food items than the average person who pays for his own groceries? The people who are funding the program are living more modestly than the people who are on the program. Absolutely outrageous and disgusting. Yeah, I agree. But when you have a welfare program that is not monitored and scrutinized, every so often, then you're going to get abuse. I mean, everybody realizes that. As Americans, we all know that's going to happen. But the concern here is to the extent of the abuse. So we're thinking maybe, a few thousand people are abusing the program or whatever. I don't know, honestly. I only know what I've read or seen on the internet. And I've seen quite a few videos from the TikTok crowd about them using it for, all kinds of stuff. I read somewhere that somebody was using it to pay for DoorDash. And that kind of outraged me for a minute. But then I was like, wait a second. I think DoorDash actually does grocery delivery as well. And then, I was concerned, is it paying for the fees and the tips for the drivers? And I think I talked to Grok, the AI on X, and he said that it's not legal to pay for the fees of the tips. That has to be paid on a separate card or payment, which is, I like that. That's acceptable. That's totally fine. If DoorDash is just delivering your groceries and you're paying for just the groceries with the EBT, that makes sense. You would be doing the same in the grocery store. If you were in the grocery store purchasing your food and you bought something that was not covered, you would have to pay for that on a separate payment. That makes sense. Here's a couple of suggestions on how to correct the abuse of the SNAP program. Every SNAP recipient should come up for review in every 90 days. That seems reasonable. What measures have been taken to improve their situation? Now, obviously, this would depend on what their situation is. You know, are they disabled? Can they not hold down any job at all? That's one of my biggest concerns, is the disabled or handicapped population who can't get, like, you know, a regular job. There are a lot of people who can't walk, you know, quadriplegics. They can't use their arms. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios we could come up with where they can't hold down a typical job. Now, there are jobs out there that these individuals can perform, whether or not they're eligible or needed or it's convenient, things like that. I understand we'd have to go through those one by one. But if you can't walk, like let's say you're confined to a wheelchair, there are plenty of jobs you can still do. Like we've got companies all over the country, in fact the world, who need data entry people. You just sit at your computer and do like 4 hours of data entry and you earn your SNAP benefits. That sounds logical to me. How many job interviews have they attended? And this particular one would probably be just mostly for people who don't have any particular or specific ailments that inhibit them from getting a job. So I understand that. Have they made any non-essential purchases? That is something we should look into also. I don't know how big a crowd that would be. If you're saying non-essential, that would have to be clearly defined. Safety nets must come with safeguards, which is absolutely correct. There are plenty of people who have paid into the system, come on hard times, and then had to request benefits. And that's exactly what it's there for. I completely support that. And then these individuals got off of the benefits after 3 months or whatever. That's legit.
Will SNAP benefits dry up November 1st? Well, right now the speculation is it is likely.
I've seen like maybe 10 different people, accounts or whatnot on TikTok where they're saying, if the SNAP benefits fail, I'm coming for your groceries, you know. There's one lady said she's going to break into your house and steal your groceries. There's a couple others who are saying, well, we're just going to steal from the store. There's some others that are saying, we're just going to hunt people in the parking lot. And I'm like, well, depending on where you live, that may actually happen. Yeah. If any kind of food riot breaks out, that's exactly what will happen.
Some of the top items that people buy with food stamps, soda pop. That's right, sugary drinks that are bad for you. And you get all these videos that go viral of morbidly obese and obese people saying, I need my food stamps.
That's another thing, is like a lot of these SNAP recipients or these welfare recipients, they're obese. So this is Senator Hawley out of Missouri. He's a Republican senator, and he is pretty awesome, I gotta admit. I've been impressed with this guy over the past 10 years. He's very good about standing up for conservative values and just common sense stuff. I mean, he asks the common sense questions that we all have when we're watching these hearings on the Senate Judicial Committee and everything else. Hawley, in a separate interview, confirmed there have been discussion about potentially bringing up the bill for a vote. If they don't give it a vote, then I'm going to take it to the floor. Hawley said, referring to seeking unanimous consent.
Let me play this video for you guys. A montage of what these people think of you.
Oh, here's some of the TikTok videos that have been coming out since this kind of loomed.
My kids have not eaten in 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids.
Trump done cut them food stamps off.
They say $2 million is getting cut off this month for the scamps. I'm about to go find out if I'm in that number, in that ratio. It's been day 5 and I have not received no food stamps. My disability check is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending.
She's just farming likes for internet clout. I don't think that this is real. I mean, maybe, but she's saying I'm not getting my food stamps, my disability checks cut off. I mean, like, she completely lives off the government. I mean, I used to deliver the mail, so I know that some people do get I know a lot of people get disability checks. Like on the 5th, the 1st and the 5th, I think it was, or the 1st and the 3rd, I would deliver just trayfuls of mail, and every single house just about had a disability check or some check from the government.
It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of.
That's
What?
right. What's wrong with you people? You work for us. I should get all of your stuff for free.
All right, Tim. Whatever you say, bro. Tim gets kind of animated about this stuff, which is funny, but you can clearly see that he's being facetious about it.
I mean, that's the Zoran AOC message, right? It is your responsibility to break your back every single day, working as hard as you can, so that I can have the government take from you what you've produced and eat. Why should I have to work, right?
I want to just remind everyone, there's been 27 days of the government shutdown, and Democrats once again, just this morning, voted to keep it shut down. So seemingly there's no end in sight. Well, we've been shut down long enough that there are some ramifications. You've got air traffic controllers that aren't getting paid. They still have to show up to work. And you still have to trust that they're not gonna, I don't know, like just be lazy or shorthanded or overworked or, you know, whatever. Fill in the blank here.
But wait, there's more.
The people who have been the ones that have been scamming the system are crawling out of the shadows to complain about it, like this one.
With food stamps getting cut off next month, like I don't have a kid that eats like a grown man.
It looks like
I eat like a grown man. We like steak and lobster.
Is this staged? Is this a bit? Are we being punked? Does that kid have a beard? Y'all seeing this? And a mustache? Are they playing us?
Yeah, we like food. We like steak and lobster.
Steak
so
and
I
lobster.
want everybody to be prepared for me and my kid to be at their house for Thanksgiving.
We like steak and lobster. Who doesn't? You telling me she's using EBT to buy steak and lobster? Maybe I saw this wrong. Maybe it's not a beard. Man, that had me going. But lobster? Come on now. You can't be buying lobster. That's ridiculous.
My mama is not here.
Yup, we're straight. Yup, and we're gonna eat your food.
I too would love to eat steak and lobster every day. Unfortunately, it's a little pricey.
Indeed.
And we can't do that. But this woman is upset that she can't go buy steak and lobster with your tax money.
Y'all, why they took my food stamps? Now I gotta spend my big girl dollars on some food? Like, bro,
Your big
X
girl
is
dollars?
$20. I just can't. I just really can't.
I have no words.
Sarah's face.
Sometimes. The entitlement that these people feel for your tax. I mean, that's the craziness of it all. They literally feel entitled to your hard-earned money. And it's just
they've
really,
been on it for so
really
long.
astounding.
I feel like the main argument I've been seeing is, oh, it's not the government's job to feed you. It's not the government's job to take care of you. It's not the government's responsibility to take care of you.
Yeah.
When literally it is their job. That's literally exactly what the
Has anybody
their
got
job
a
is.
9-volt battery?
See,
Who told women that was cute? Seriously. Anyways, it's not the government's responsibility to feed you. No. In fact, there is almost nothing that the government is required nor responsible for doing for you. You are responsible for you. And of course, your family by proxy, if they care about you. But it is your job to feed yourself. So if that doesn't manifest in the method of you going out back and farming all of your own food or hunting your own meat, then you're going to have to get that elsewhere. You're going to have to get someone else to do that for you. And you're going to have to pay that individual for that service. So if you go to the grocery store and you pay the grocery store for the food that you get from them, that's fine. But you have to come up with that money yourself. We need to fully revamp the program and start from the beginning, because clearly the wrong message was sent.
In fiscal year 24, SNAP averaged 41.7 million participants per month.
It's interesting to us that Republicans decided that they would prefer to permanently extend massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors in their one big ugly bill.
Yeah, we don't want the government to have our income. We are smarter with our money than the government is with our.
They always say it's the billionaire class tax breaks. That's total horse crap. They're lying to you. I mean, they're being factual, but they're not being truthful. So the tax breaks are for everyone. It's not for billionaires. They're tax breaks that benefit everyone, largely the middle class, which is awesome. But yes, when you give a tax break to everyone, billionaires will probably get it too. I don't see what's wrong with giving a tax break to everyone. That just seems really obvious.
We know we're going to participate in this process. That's why we both vote to open up our government. We're in a different party. We're on the same team for Pennsylvania and our nation.
Pennsylvanians expect it. Pennsylvanians deserve it.
SNAP benefits running out soon. A notice posted over at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the official government website, telling us that something like 40 million people who are on food stamps are going to lose those benefits, those EBT bucks. And that is a lot of people. Oh my goodness, 40 million people are federally subsidized to get their food?
Okay, so 42 million is approximately how many people are on SNAP benefits, which comes out to 12.1% of the current U.S. population, which is estimated to be 347,900,000.
Have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program.
And I think it was actually 13 times because they voted this morning as well.
Also known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Bottom line, the well has run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1. Coming up soon. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or they can reopen the government.
In the beginning, they were holding out for $1.5 trillion, which included a bunch of nonsense, such as $200 billion in healthcare benefits for illegal aliens. We talked about that. They wanted a repeal of the $50 billion rural hospital fund. I'm not sure what that's about. They wanted permanent COVID subsidies without reform. So they wanted to reinstate a bunch of the COVID subsidies that was eliminated by the Big Beautiful Bill. Which is a no, because the American people voted to have that one big beautiful bill instituted and those subsidies repealed. $500 million for liberal news outlets. That's right, yeah. They wanted to reinstate the funding for NPR and PBS, I think is what it was. $4 million for global LGBTQI plus awareness campaigns. Yeah, no, F that. $4 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Balkans. What?
How about no?
$2 million for feminist Democrat principles in Africa. Are you guys for real? This is the stuff the Democrats wanted for the $1.5 trillion in the beginning. This is what they demanded. I'm glad we said no.
More than 40 million low-income food assistance beneficiaries are expected to receive less help or no help in the coming days. USDA is threatening to withhold billions of dollars based on a funding problem. There's between $5 billion and $6 billion currently in the fund, not enough to cover $8 billion due out next month.
Okay, so $8 billion is apparently needed in November. is what I'm gathering. And that cannot go ahead until the government is reopened.
Friday, they released guidance saying that it's not going to fund these things beyond October 31st. So you better get it figured out. In a memo first reported by Axios, due to congressional Democrats' refusal, 42 million Americans are going to get nuked off these benefits. They've refused to pass the CR. We have no more money. We have no more contingencies. The contingencies need to be saved for hurricanes.
And they could just open the government, like vote for the clean CR, open the government, and then negotiate and work on these matters. But for some reason, the Democrats don't want to do it. And I say some reason, but they pretty much told us what the reason was.
Of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. But it is one of the few leverage times we have.
Without a resolution to this shutdown, SNAP benefits could come to a halt on November 1st.
We reopen the government and we lose our leverage.
Roughly 42 million people are at risk of losing critical food assistance.
Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage.
Families are headed into a bleak holiday season, possibly with no government food assistance because of the federal shutdown.
More leverage.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said this week, quote, every day gets better for Democrats the longer.
Oh, and he said that right at the beginning of the shutdown, too.
The shutdown goes on. How is every day getting better, as Chuck Schumer said?
I don't think this is better for anyone.
And they're doing this because the Republicans control every part of the government, and this is their only way that they have any, like they said, leverage. They have any power over the Republicans to stop them from doing what they want to do. So they're going to hold the American people hostage to get their agenda done. And I got to be honest, I don't think it's going to work, because this is what the American people voted for when they voted for the Trump administration. To cut spending, to fix our debt. This is what we voted for.
I did pull up some other numbers from the official websites. You can see USDA.gov. It is 40 million or so. Look at this. This is USDA.gov. In fiscal year 24, SNAP averaged 41.7 million participants per month. People, federal SNAP spending was 99.8 billion, almost 100 billion, equaling out to about $187 per participant, right? So I guess that's per person. So if you're getting benefits, you're getting about just under $200 a month. And those numbers go up basically every year. The
$187 a month for food? You can do that. That's doable if you buy the right stuff.
Participation rates have kind of trended, have been about steady, maybe even trending down a little bit, but the total amount of money has gone up dramatically. And it's interesting how you see, the financial crisis of like 07, 08, boom, you see a big spike. You see the COVID crisis, you see a boom, a big spike, although participation didn't go up much based on those numbers. Here are the states siphoning off most of these SNAP benefits. We got LA, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Oregon, and DC, all just siphoning off those SNAP monies right into their gullets, right into their stomachs and probably thighs. Distribution of participants by age.
Okay, so out of 42 million, the percentage of children age 5 to 17 and children younger than 5. So from newborns to 17, all minors, you've got 11.1% and 27.7%. So that comes out to 38.8%, if I've tapped into my Asian math properly.
So all of this, I think, is probably interrelated, but there's a real structural problem when we have 40 million people who need government money to survive. That is redistribution and not far off from socialism or communism. How does that number just not keep going up and up and up? Eventually, we've got UBI, and the government's responsible for feeding everybody. And that is how hundreds of millions die in the future. So all that's going on, and Hakeem got asked about this again. He says, you guys could just open up the government.
This nutcase, he is the worst. He lies about everything. He's dramatic about everything. He just pushes the mainstream narrative about Democrats. He's just a cancer in the government. He's just as bad as any of the prominent Democrats that are always lying to the public. He's terrible. But he brings in the rage bait clicks, so they keep putting him on TV.
Maniac Hakeem, but you're not doing it. You want 40 million people to starve to death?
It said what you are asking the Republicans to do right now when they control the White House, the Senate, and the House is effectively what Democrats could not do when they controlled all three of those heads of government themselves. The 10-year setup for this, the 3-year setup for the expiration of these credits was intentionally put in. It was put in when you controlled the White House, the House, and the Senate. You couldn't get it passed for longer. And so this is a setup kind of your own creation that you all couldn't extend beyond that. Now you want the Republicans to do something you didn't do when you were in power.
Yeah, and fix your problem?
It's not a setup beyond what we could do. We extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits in 2022 for 3 years. The program is working. It's providing health care to tens of millions of people in an affordable way, and it should be continued.
The ACA is destroying this country, the healthcare system. It's bankrupting everyone except the insurance agencies. That's ridiculous. And that's how you know he's lying. You're talking about something completely unrelated, and he's lying about that.
Interesting to us that Republicans decided that they would prefer to permanently extend massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors.
For everyone. Not just billionaires. For everyone, you moron.
In their one big ugly bill.
Yeah, we don't want the government to have our income. We are smarter with our money than the government is with our money. The government's terrible with our money. There is just grift, graft, waste, theft, and not.
When you're spending your own money, you're careful about what you spend it on, especially if you have limited income. When you give your money to someone else like the government, they don't care. They'll spend it on whatever, and they don't try to look around for the lowest price. They just get whatever they want whenever they want. And usually it's from people who they are in cahoots with. So they want to pay extra for it so that their people make money.
On productivity coming out of every dollar that we send into Washington. So the tax cuts actually benefit American citizens.
And that's my boy Robert Gove Esquire. You guys can find him on YouTube. He does a lot of legal analysis. And he's very good at it. He is actually an attorney, or was a practicing attorney at some point. I think he was a defense attorney. And he recently just got married, so congratulations, buddy. Well, that about wraps up today's video. If you guys liked it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more videos in the future. Until next time, I love you guys. Good evening, and God bless.